Start, of course, with a warm-up. We're going to use the ball to begin with if you have one. If you don't, if you've got like a small weight, like a very light dumbbell, something like that to begin with. We're going to work through that. So in the center from there, we're just going to bring this across. We're going to start just going side to side. Nice and easy through there. Letting that hip come around, shoulder come through. Again, as you're coming through, let that heel come up. Now, the closer the ball is to you, the easier that's going to be, right? So if you want to make a little more, you'll just extend that ball out, making the arms longer. The thing that you want to remember is to make sure that you stay strong through the middle so that you don't have a lot of extra stress on the back. Let's go 2 more. And our last set. We're going to take it down low, grip on the diagonal. Nice and easy through there. Good. Warm up those shoulders a bit. Okay, let's go 1 more on this side. Then we're just going to switch. We're going to bring this down, around to the other side, and back up. If that feels like it's too fast, just slow it down. You know, our exercise today is not on a tempo. I just have music playing so that I don't go too fast. Let's go 4 more here. And 3. 2 more. And our last one right here. Okay, now coming back into center from here, we're going to take this ball down. We're going to squat down and reach that up overhead. So in this one, again, we're still warming up, so don't worry about a super deep squat. And strong. And as we get a hold of this, when we get into the actual exercise part of it, more so than the warm-up, I'll be asking you to actually kind of squeeze the ball a little bit, because then you're going to get work on the chest as well, right? And the shoulders. Go 2 more. And our last one right there. Okay, so coming into back of the legs, we're going to warm ourselves back up a bit. So I'm going to come from the side just so that you can see what I'm doing. I've got my feet apart, however far is comfortable for you. If you have just a dumbbell, you don't have weights, all you're going to do is be reaching for, but keep your weight close to you as you come from here. So if you have a weight, you're going to keep the hand down and you're just going to push yourself back and just kind of reach for the ground. You could probably be better off with no weight on this one. If you have the ball, you're just going to push those hips back, pressing the lats down here, so pressing down with the chest. You're going to use those legs to pull yourself back up. Again, bringing that back out with a nice long stretch. It feels really good too, in my humble opinion here. Good, just a couple more. So we're warming up those hips and the back of the thighs. I'm going to go just 2 more here. And let's bring that back. Okay, then we're going to start an easy piece on here. So if you've got a chair or you've got something, you can do this standing, you can do it seated. It is just a personal preference. If you have a ball, we're going to sit on top of the ball and we're just going to bounce a little bit. So from here, you can keep the feet on the floor and you can just bounce up and down. You can add a little to that if you want to, coming up and down. I think this is just fun, so that's just my little thing from there. And then we're just going to sit down. So if you're standing on that, all you're doing is coming up on the toes, right? That's primarily where you're at there. From here, we're going to come for a wide knee lift. So we're going to come up from here and back down. So we're braced nice and strong to the center so we don't do exactly like I just did. So lifting up that knee. If you're standing, same thing. You're just lifting up the knee nice and wide. Squeeze and raise. And squeeze and raise. So again, we're trying not to wobble all over the place and have our ball seesawing everywhere. Let's go 2 more here. Okay, now let's bring that back in so we've got a little bit narrower base from here. We're gonna do exactly the same thing, just a nice lift and a nice lift. You can take that as quick or as slow as you want, but again, we're strong through the middle, we're sitting tall. So be careful not to round that back and have that C curve. We wanna have a nice straight spine here. 2. Okay, now we're gonna change it. We're gonna take it out and in and out and in. So the same thing if you were standing, you're just gonna take that knee out, you're gonna bring it back in. You can touch the foot down if you wish. Going right there. Let's go 2 more here. Okay, now back into the center from here. So if you're standing, you're gonna bring one leg out to the side, one leg out to the side. So obviously you know what we're gonna do here on the ball as well, right? We're just gonna make it a little faster. 4. Here's 3 and 2. Okay, let's speed it up from here, right here, coming around. Now you'll notice I'm trying to keep my balance here, right? I don't want to be flopping sideways back and forth. But that's my whole goal, to do the jumping jack without wobbling all over. Let's go 4, 3, 2, and our last one, hold. And just stop right there, maintaining the balance. So then we're gonna start working through the spine a little bit, coming into the pelvic tilts. Same thing, you can do this. Standing is probably easier than sitting if you're in a chair. So from here, we're just gonna tuck that pelvis under, and we're gonna push that back. So the tailbone is forward down towards the floor, and that pelvis is just gonna rock forward, so you're tucking those hips under, and then we're gonna push that back and lengthen out. Squeeze. Let's go 2 more here. That actually probably feels pretty good in your low back. And then we're gonna go side to side. So I'm gonna turn back around again. And again, all this is just a shift of the hips. So we've done this standing several times. We're doing the same old thing we always do. It's just that shift of the hips. You can have your feet wider if you prefer. You can keep them in close, but we have that nice posture. Okay, now we are going to draw a circle on the floor with the tailbone. So if you're standing, you're gonna come into kind of a slight crouch. We're gonna bring this around, I shouldn't say crouch, but your knees are gonna be soft. You're gonna be bent down just a little bit. From here, just take that tailbone, circle it around. So all of that work is coming from here. We're gonna reverse, coming back the other direction. Let's go 2 more. Nice. Okay, so we're going to begin with just a little bit of work for the midsection first. Then we're going to come back into a standing position and do some work into the legs and, of course, the core as well. So if you have the ball, we're going to stand up. If you don't, you're going to always do this again on the floor. You can lie down on the floor, countertop, whatever you want to do. You can do them standing as well. We're going to roll back out from here. We just want to make sure that we've got good support underneath the low back from here. Now, the higher up you are on the ball, the harder the work will be. So if you find that that's just a bit much, just simply roll yourself back down. So what we're going to do is start off with just letting the hand rest into the head, rest into the hands, or you can just kind of touch your temples with your fingertips. We're going to shorten up through the midsection from here, squeeze them into a curl. Make sure you're not sliding. If you're sliding, you can always put those feet up against couch, chair, wall, whatever you've got handy. And this is just a nice controlled curl. So as we get to the top, we're exhaling out. Everything is coming through. We inhale, release that back, and take that as far back as you're comfortable with. Get a pretty nice range of motion through here. But if it makes you dizzy when you go over, please don't do that. Let's go 2 more here. And our last one. And from there, we're going to just relax the head into the hand. And we're coming to the side. So it's directly to the side as we reach through here. From the cross, we're just bringing that shoulder down towards the hip. So if you're laying down, that's all you're doing. You're just squeezing to the side. You'll be touching your ankle versus the knee. And as we do that, we want to try again to maintain strength through the center there so that we don't let the belly pop up. Yeah, 4 more. And 2. And our last one. Then we're just going to switch hands, come to the other side. So again, you'll notice I'm not coming away up, I'm sliding to the side. Not even sliding so much, squeezing, right? Let's go 4 more here. Make sure you breathe. And into the center. Now from there, we're just going to come back up and sit back a little bit from there. So we're going to do just a half curl back. So we did the curl up. This time we're going to come back kind of like we're rowing, and then we're going to add another piece to kind of work on the balance with that. So from here, we'll start off again, sitting up on the top. We're going to reach back, get that nice big C curve in here, and we're going to sit back up tall. So we're not necessarily trying to roll that ball back. We are coming back on top of the ball. And it's the same thing there that when you have, nice and strong through the midsection. I forgot what I was gonna say. Grounding through the back from here, nice and easy. And staying grounded, right? Now, if you wanna add a little bit of the balance, we're gonna take one hand over, we're gonna shift that back, we're gonna come back up. Think of pulling through. Round that back as you come back. And sitting tall, squeeze and roll back. Excuse me, feet are sliding. Good, good. Let's go one more time each side. So pulling through from there and back into the center. Sitting back up here, we're going to come back into a standing position. And if you're on the floor, you don't need to stand up because we're going to run into a plank really quick. So there are a couple of ways that you can do this. One is you're just going to come down onto the knees and you're going to plant your hands on top of the ball. So we're going to press into that ball with our forearms. You can make fists if you want to, whatever you want to do. And the lower that you come down onto the ball, the more that that's going to affect it as you go out. So you might want to start with it high on the ball. And again, a little bit outside if you're worried about the balance. The closer your hands are together, the more that's going to challenge your balance. But if we have them out about shoulder distance apart as we come from here, we're going to roll forward to a nice strong plank. We'll squeeze into that ball and pull that back using the midsection. Now, if you want to go a little farther out, you're just going to start lower on the ball because that gives you a little bit more distance, right? Squeeze that back in. You can also do this on your toes, so if you find this not challenging enough, that's always a place we can go with that as well. We're just going to do 4 more. So brace real strong in the middle. And our key when we're using the ball is we really want to keep contact with it all the time. We don't want to let it get away from us. So one more time, if I'm counting right. And then bringing this back into center. All right, so I don't know that we're necessarily ready to do this with weights yet, so I'm not going to add weights with it. Just know that this is something that you can add dumbbells with for the upper body as we move into it, but we're gonna move into the balance part. If you're not using the ball, you're probably perfectly fine using some lighter sets of dumbbells. We're gonna do lateral raises with them. So as we move the leg forward and back and side to side, if you're standing instead, what you're going to do is maintain this nice line of posture. Thinking from the ear down through the hip and the ankle, raise through the midsection slightly. You're going to come in. The front leg will just be a nice raise as you come back up from there. Turning the toe out so that the ankle leads so your inner thigh gets smaller. Coming to the side, you'll just come out this direction. And then we come to the back, same thing, but we're standing tall, right? So we're not going to be coming back here and leaning way forward into that as we move through. Now, if you have the ball, and I'm gonna need to pull my mat back a bit. From here, we're gonna start off and we're gonna take one leg on top. So from here, we're gonna find our balance. We're gonna extend that leg back out. And again, remember that the farther you get the ball away from you, the more challenging that will get. Letting that come back. And what we're trying to do here is just maintain control, right? So we want to have good balance. We want to have good posture. We're just going to start in the center from there. Now your arms can go forward with this, or they can go to the side. Doesn't matter at all. Just whatever feels best to you as you come through. You can also kind of complement the two. Okay, so for our last 6 from here, what we're going to do is sit back into that. It's a very shallow squat. If you're standing, you don't have to worry about that. Just go ahead and again, maintain that nice tall posture as you come through it. We have 2 to go. Sitting back from there. And relax. So then we're gonna come to the side. And as we do this, we wanna line this up so that we've got the ball, the shoulder, the hip, and the knee are all in one alignment while you've got the leg extended. We're gonna draw that ball in front of us, or the knee in front of us, draw that ball to us, and then we're gonna exhale down. Now again, you can always start with the ball closer to you, because the farther it gets away, the more difficult the exercise will be. So bringing that back in, let those arms come back out. All right. And again, keeping that foot in contact with the ball. We're gonna go ahead from here and we're gonna add that little tiny squat. So it's small, just sit the hips back and come back up. This isn't gonna be a super deep squat on this one. And if you need something to hang on to for balance, please do. It takes a little getting used to for this. I believe we have 4 to go. And 3. Here's 2. And our last one. Okay, now on the next one, I'm going to turn around to the side just so you can see what I'm doing. Basically, the ball is going to go behind us as we come on to this one. So the first thing that you want to do is get control of your ball, right? So as you come into position, if you've already got it, it's going to be right behind us. So we're trying to basically just keep the hips squared off as we come from here. And we're going to push that ball away. And we're going to draw that back in. So all those one-legged deadlifts that we've been working on prepared us well for those. Here. And again, if you want to counterbalance with arms, you can extend those arms out. And if you wish, you can add a little squat, pushing that ball back and drawing that back in. And when you start, I would actually keep the ball fairly close to you so that you can use that whole shin to control that. Because as you get farther away and you use more of the top of the foot, it's going to be a little bit harder to control the ball with just that little small access point. I believe we have 4 more here. 2 to go. And bring that back in. We're going to release that, let that back up. We're going to shake out that standing leg because you should ideally be feeling that through that whole leg and up around the hip. So we're going to start with the other side, of course. And we'll begin, and we're just going to go in the same cycle we just did. So again, starting off with the leg in the front, excuse me, hair in my face. Bringing that off to the side there. Excuse me, out in front of us. So just a gentle push away and draw that back in. Now, if you are ready, you can sit down into that little squat, stand up nice and tall, and sit back down. So there's no way you can do this without getting work through the entire midsection, right? You get some work in the abs, you're gonna get work in the back, just to kind of maintain. You're getting all of those stabilizers in that leg everywhere. Let's go 2 more here. And our last one. Now, coming from here, again, bringing that off to the side. So finding your position first, get your ball where you want it to be, and line that back up so that we've got that nice straight line from here. Pulling that knee to the front, and then pushing that out and away. So if you need to adjust the standing leg to kind of give yourself a little bit of a diagonal, that's fine too. Wherever you are most comfortable. And then if you wish, you can sit that down into just a little bit of a squat. It's small. Just sit the hips back so that you can keep that straight line here, right? So when I come down to this, I still have that straight line out from the hip through the knee and the ankle. Let's go 4 more. And 3. Here's 2. And our last one right here. Bringing that back in. Good. Very good. So then once again, you just need to find the balance. So you can move that ball back around behind you. And again, making sure that if you've got it like a mat like I do, sometimes that lip can make a little bit of a problem for you there. So make sure that you've got enough room to extend that ball back and forth without actually having to touch that lip. So finding your balance from here. This would be my bad side. Okay, so standing up nice and strong from there. We are again going to begin just trying to make sure that we've got good control with that ball. So sighting in, finding a place where you've got good focus is always really nice. Making sure that we're trying to let that ball go back in a straight line. We're going to go ahead from here, if you wish, sit that back. So if you're doing it just pushing back and you don't feel that you've got enough of a challenge, this should add to that. Let's go 4 more here. One more time here. And bringing that back into place. So again, just kind of shake that leg out a little bit. We're going to come back in the middle again. So remember in the beginning there where we had the ball and we were going up and down in the squat, we're going to do that again. But this time what I want you to do is actually squeeze into the ball so that you're going to be working the chest as we come back through here. You're also, when you're coming back, squeezing down with the lats to bring that back and down. So as we come into center from here, we're going to bring it tall. We've got our legs out wide, and the knees are going to track with the toes. So the toes are at a slight diagonal here. We're going to come down. You don't need to touch. You can if you want, but you sure don't need to. Squeeze and reach. Pull that down. Press it back up. Good. Good. Strong in the middle, right? Good, good. Let's go 4 to go here. 4 and 3. We have 2. And our last one here. Coming into center from there. We're going to go ahead and step those feet in just a little bit closer from here. Now this time as we come for that diagonal piece, you can again just come from here and reach down, or you can come up, out. Just gives you a little bit more. And for the balance, and that push off is what we're really looking for here, right? Just enough of a push off, not to knock us off balance. Good. Let's go 2 more. Now hold right here and reach. Coming back. So we're just bending the knee, right? So this is always an option too. If you still want to have a little wider base and be able to sit into it, but you don't want to have to do the balance piece with it. Which I probably should have showed first. Let's go one more time. Bring that back to center here. So we're gonna do the squat one more time. We're gonna do the other side from there. You should be feeling the shoulders. So coming from here. Again, let's go ahead and start with it up. Squeezing the ball on the inside there. We're gonna bring this down and coming back up. Good, good. I definitely feel my shoulders. How about you? A little bit with the lats, but not as much. Let's go 4. I think gravity is assisting there. Here's 2. And our last one. Now from here, again, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna step this out to the side, or we'll just lean into it, right? So a little wider stance, where you can come back up. And again, the push off is what we're focusing on if you are gonna lift. So that we're pushing off, but not so much we knock ourselves off balance. We don't want to be our own enemy. Let's go 2 more. And our last one. And from there. Okay. We're good on time. So we're going to take the ball down. We're going to come back. We're going to do one more set with those planks. And then we're going to lay down with our feet up on top of the ball. So if you're on the floor again, you go to the plank, and then we're going to move into some bridges. So that's where we're headed for that. Working on the hamstring, of course, right? So again, from here, starting off with the ball wherever you want. And we are going to place the hands onto the ball from here, keeping this in close. Then we're going to straighten out. We'll squeeze back. Make sure you're squeezing from here, right? Pull yourself back and pressing those arms down into the ball. So this is just exactly like it is when we do the plank on the floor, right? You're pressing into those elbows, that entire forearm actually. Let's do 4 more. Good. And 3. Now again, if this doesn't feel like it's giving you nearly enough, come up onto your toes. That'll take care of that problem. One more time here. All right, then we get to lay down. So from here, we're gonna take that ball out in front of us. We're gonna bring this back down. We're gonna start with the feet up on top of the ball. So if you were on the floor with no ball, you're just gonna do a regular bridge. So you bring the feet in close from here and you're gonna push those hips up off of it. From here, if you do have a ball, we're wanting to extend that out a little bit farther away from us from there. So we've got the hands at our sides for the moment. We're gonna go ahead and press into that ball and peel ourselves back up into a nice straight line. We'll relax, let that come back down. So same thing with your glute bridge. We're just lifting the hips, right? Now for both of them, if you want to make it a little bit more difficult, you simply lift the hands up. That makes your base of support a little bit less. You also could do these with one leg by simply bending one knee as you come back up or lifting the leg towards the ceiling. We can do that on the ball as well by lifting one leg up, holding that towards the ceiling and coming back and down. We're just gonna do 2 more. So you know for our next set. Coming back from there. All right, So now from here, we're going to go ahead and take those back out. We are going to come up into the bridge position from here, and then we're going to curl those heels back in towards us. So if you're on the floor, if you've got something where you can slide the feet back in, that's fine. Otherwise, you're going to walk your feet out and walk your feet back. So you would be into your bridge from here, you're going to walk them out and then walk them back in. So that'll give you just a few options. It's not entirely the same, but it gives you the same work in the hamstrings. So coming from the center here, make sure that your legs are balanced. If you have your legs tight together from there, that's going to be a little bit more difficult for your balance. So take them out just a little bit apart from there. And again, we're going to come back up. Now we're going to dig in with those heels and pull those in towards us. Extend out. We're going to try and stay lifted. If you want to sit down in between each one, of course you certainly can. Squeeze. And squeeze. We won't do a whole bunch. Let's go 4 more here. One more time. From here, we're going to go ahead and roll down. Okay, so we are going to grab a hold of the ball with the feet from here. So if you have a dumbbell, you'll hold the dumbbells in your hands. Again, you don't have to have that, but if you want it, you're going to hold the dumbbell in the hands. We're going to bring this overhead. And again, our goal is still to make sure that we don't let the hips pop up, right? Let's go just 2 more like this. And our last one. Now, if you have a ball, you're going to sit the ball in your lap. If you do not have a ball, what you're going to do is bring your knees up from here. So as you bring the knees up from here, you're going to take both palms and you're going to press those hands into the legs as we move through that. So you'll draw up in and make the belly nice and firm. You're going to press that away from you, but don't let that leg go anywhere. If you have a ball, and you can also do that with the feet on the floor. So if you're uncomfortable with the knees up, that's okay. Keep the feet on the floor. What we're looking to do is to fire this section across here. So this is where I really want you to feel it is from here. If you're feeling it in your back, relax back out of that again. Engage the abs by kind of pushing down on your tummy like somebody's stepping on you, and try it again. If you have the ball, we're going to take the hands onto here, and we're simply going to press into the ball with those lats. So pressing in. Now, ideally, you'll feel this in the same spot, right? Right straight across the midsection. We'll release that out. Take that again. This is a very small movement, right? Pressing down into that, pushing it against the knees, but don't let it roll up the legs. Release from here. We're going to do one more time with each, whichever version you're doing of it. And then come in from here. Now, if you don't have a ball, you do just the legs with this. So we'll take the legs up from here, and we're going to start. You can hold your legs. So if you're not real comfortable with all that, and you don't feel that you can hang on quite as tight with the tummy, give yourself just a little bit of support, or if you just need a place for your hands, right? We're going to drop this down and lift it back up. So now we're working the quads. Before we were working the back side here, now we're working into the front side of the legs, in case you can't feel it. Now, as long as you're good with that, we're going to exhale and bring these down. You can, again, place the hands underneath the hips if you prefer. We do not need to touch the floor. Nice long extension. Let's bring that back in. We're going to do 2 more here. Let that come down. And our last one. Let's release that down. We're going to place the feet back on top. So we're going back to the bridges, whatever version you were doing. The difference with it this time is that when we come up, we're going to go ahead and curl the legs back in, and then we'll come back and we'll set that back down. We're just set up 8 of those. So if you're on the floor, you're gonna lift the hips up, walk the feet out, walk the feet back, and set the booty back down. Same versions from here. So again, hands on the side. We're gonna take an easy breath in, lift up. Curl that in, press that out, and relax down. Squeeze up, draw in, and relax down. I think this is number 4, so we're halfway, right? It's always a good feeling. Let's go just 2 more from here. Balancing on the shoulders. And our last one. And bring that down. So it's very deliberate, right? Now from here, we'll go ahead and we're gonna grab that ball again. So if you remember that part where we were pressing into it, where we're getting that action across the midsection, that's what we're looking for in the next piece. We're gonna do a ball pass. If you don't like it, that's okay. You don't have to do that. You can just pass it back and forth without bothering to, or you can just do the overheads and then the legs extended separately. I'm gonna show you a couple different versions. But our goal here is to keep the low back down to the floor. You can. Again, start with the arms overhead from here. We're gonna lift those legs up. We're gonna come up. We're gonna pass that out to the legs. We're gonna bring those arms here, and we're gonna come back. So if you're not comfortable lifting the upper body up, go ahead and keep it down. Dropping the legs from there. And if you're not comfortable with the legs extended, come back from here, drop them down, lift that back up, and hand it off. So whichever version of these you want to do. And if you're on the floor, you're just not passing the ball. The work is still the same. You just don't have the ball for the added weight. Notice you'll feel those inner thighs too, right, from holding on. Let's do 4 more of these. We have 2. And our last one. Release that back down and back into the middle from here. Now the last move that we're going to do is a windshield wiper. So we're going to take the feet side to side, and you can touch them down on the floor if you want to, but you sure don't have to. You can do that with no equipment whatsoever. Bent knees, so you would just come to the side and to the other side. Extended legs, same thing. We're trying to keep the shoulders down if we can. And if you've got the ball in the center here, go ahead and bring those hands out. We're gonna come to the side and back. Now, if you want to add a little extra to that, you can actually rotate those feet over. We have 4. And 3. Don't lose your ball. There's 2. And our last one here. I like that because I also get a stretch on the low back. Release that down. Now, if you have your ball, you're just going to extend it away. Let the feet relax from here. Not just go ahead and extend those legs out, or you can keep your feet flat on the floor and the knees up. We're going to reach the hands all the way up overhead from here. Really stretch long, and if you wish, you can come back up for just a little extra stretch there. We're going to exhale from here, roll that back down. again. Just hold for a second here. We're gonna go ahead and bring that ball in so we can get a hold of it. Bringing the legs onto the outside of it, holding from there. Now all we're gonna do from here is just roll up. See how that counterbalanced that? That was nice, right? Okay, so from a seated position here, we're just gonna, again, create that nice C curve in the back. So if you are sitting without the ball, just imagine that you have one. We're gonna exhale, we're gonna pull through the center from here, really widen out that back, flex the feet and lean forward. Now with the ball, you can kind of press down into those hands a little bit, but pushing that away and really creating as much space in the back as you can. And then on the inhale, let's just sit up, pull those shoulder blades together. Let's exhale and roll that back out again. And back up tall. We're gonna do one more time here. And sitting up tall. Now you can use the ball or you can just stand up. We're gonna come back into a standing position from here, any way that you wanna get off the ground. So as we come back up from here, with or without the ball is good, because we're just gonna do a shift. So with the legs, we're just shifting side to side from here. Now, my chest is lifted, so I'm not leaning way over into this just yet. And I'm just keeping control. We're gonna add a slight rotation. So pulling, that back shoulder back. As we come into this, we're gonna take a palms up on our next one as we move to the side. Now, if you are without a ball, simply post your hand to the floor because you're gonna lean forward and reach back up. Or you can take it to that opposite knee. Nice big inhale as we come up. We're simply gonna shift to the other side. If you're on the ground, you don't need to come back up. And back into center. Now, if you don't have a ball, you're simply gonna stay in that forward fold. If you've got the ball, you're gonna push it forward, shift the hips back, and again, press down, just like we did in the beginning. And then when I come back up, bringing the ball up if you have one. If you don't, we're just gonna stand with the feet up. You're gonna grasp a wrist if you don't have the ball. We're gonna tilt those hips off to one side. Really pushing up and away. Coming back into center, you'll just grab the other wrist. Same thing. Pushing up and away from there, really reach long. Coming back into center from here, let's go ahead and reach that down. Nice big breath up. So you can sweep the arms if you don't have the ball. One more time up. All the way up.